this was the first slide that already I have shown to you in earlier class. Again, please go through it. The general information of growth potential of swine. Are you hearing me? Hello? Is it visible to you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So first, some general information regarding this growth of swine. And as you know, the gestation period of swine in Taksao is around 114 days. That's 3 months, 3 weeks, 3 days. You know it. And in feeding of swine, we need to keep in mind that the maximum cost that will incurred in rearing pig is from feeding. So feed alone accounts for 80% of means total cost of pig production. The rest 20% say medicine, labor, everything. Then if we see the nutrient requirement of pigs that we need to follow for feeding the pig, we are having two standards with us that we can follow. One is National Research Council, the other one is BIS specification. And for crossbred as well as Indian breeds of swine, we used to follow the BIS specification. But it's not like that we cannot follow NRC specification. It is not like that we can follow. But it's whatever we are following for feeding our swine, that is as per BIS specification 1986. And this specification was revised in 2001. But the specification that were given in 1986, that has been kept as such for 2001. So whether it is BIS specification 1986 or 2001, there's no difference. Now, these pigs, as you know, we feed in group. That's why the requirement for their nutrient is either given as percentage in the diet or as proportion in the diet in 1 kg. So for energy, it is amount of energy in terms of kilocalorie present in 1 kg of feed. But protein, it is in percent. That point already we discussed. Now, if we see the energy requirements that has been given, it is on 90% DM basis, means considering 10% moisture in the feed. And this is the table in terms of say different trait as well as nutrient required by the swine as per NRC. Now, if you see the table, there you can see what NRC has specified. Say, as per NRC, the requirement is according to body weight of the animal. Say 1 to 5 kg body weight, 5 to 10 kg, 10 to 20 kg, 20 to 50, and 50 to 100 kg. Now, is this table visible to you?
No, sir.
Huh? That table is visible or not?
No, sir.
Oh. Okay. Then let me start again.
Yes, sir, it's visible now.
Now visible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, there was one question in the last second assessment. One multiple choice question was set from my side. So the question was, the feed conversion efficiency is highest in starter phase, grower phase, finisher phase, and the last option was equal for all the phases. The answer is, say, maximum or highest feed conversion efficiency in starter phase. Now for this, if you see this one, the fourth row, expected efficiency, you can see when the animals are young, it is maximum 1.25. Then 5 to 10, 1.84. Means it is decreasing. 10 to 20, 2.11. 20 to 50, 2.71. 50 to 100, 3.79. Now, have you understood? Now the values are numerically increasing, but I am saying feed conversion efficiency is decreasing. Have you understood this point? Anyone can say? Student, please let me
Yes,
know
sir.
from you. Huh? Have you understood or not what I have
Sir,
said?
please, please repeat.
Huh?
Please repeat, sir.
Repeat. Okay. This expected efficiency, that is feed conversion efficiency, the question is, in which stage of the pig we can expect maximum feed conversion efficiency? The answer is when the animals are young. So in terms of BIS, the feeding is starter phase, grower phase, and finisher phase. So for that, we can say that maximum feed conversion efficiency we can expect in the starter phase. So as per NRC, here I am explaining to you. So as per NRC that has said that when the animals in between 1 to 5 kg, the feed conversion efficiency is 1.25. Then it increased to 1.84, means decreases actually in terms of feed conversion efficiency, but numerically values is increasing. Then 10 to 20, 2.11, 20 to 50, 2.71, and 50 to 100 kg body weight, 3.79 kg. This means, say, 1.25 feed conversion efficiency means the piglets are attaining 1 kg body weight, consuming 1.25 kg feed. Then in 5 to 10 kg, it is 1.84. This means 1 kg body weight the piglets attain from consumption of 1.84 kg feed. Then 2.11, this means 1 kg attainment of body weight consuming 2.11 kg feed. Means for 1 kg body weight gain, consumption of feed is increasing. So in that point of view, it is said that feed conversion efficiency is decreasing. Now is it clear to you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now I am going to next slide. This slide I am skipping because these are for minerals as well as vitamin that you can get from the book. Now let us see what BIS has specified. As I said, BIS has given 3 specifications for the swine. In the young, they have specified starter feed or crib feed. Then once the piglets are weaned, we should give the pig growth meal. Then from certain body weight, we should switch over to pig finishing feed. So in that way, BIS specifications are for 3 type of feed: starter feed, grower feed, and finisher feed. Is it visible to you, this table?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now here, if you see the characteristics, there different characters are written maximum and minimum. This means, say for first one, moisture percentage maximum 11 means, while we prepare any kind of these 3 feed, in no case there should not be exceeding 11% moisture. It should be lower than 11. That is the meaning. Next, second point or second character, crude protein, it is minimum. Means minimum should be 20, and if possible, it should be higher than 20 for starter feed. Then for grower, 18 minimum. Then finisher, 16 minimum. Clear? So in this way, there are minimum and maximum. Then crude fiber. If you see, it is written maximum. Now, crude fiber, we cannot expect 5%, means beyond 5% in starter phase. If it is beyond 5%, the animal will not be able to get the required nutrient. That's why we should try to keep the crude fiber for starter phase within 5 or below 5. For pig growth meal, within 6 or below 6. Or finishing within 8 or below 8, like that. Then energy, it is in kilocalorie per kg, but others are in percent. Energy is in proportion, not in percent. In the amount of kilocalorie in 1 kg feed, and this varies from 3,360 to 3,170 kilocalorie per kg feed. Have you understood this point? Hello? Please tell something. Are you hearing me?
Yes, sir.
What I said, this energy is in proportion, but other criteria or characters, say crude protein, ether extract, crude fiber, total S, all these are in percent, means amount in 100. But energy is in proportion, kilocalorie in 1 kg feed, that you remember. So this specification, say for protein, fiber, ether extract, as well as energy, in this either proportion or in, say, percent, because the swines are fed in group, not fed individually. But for cattle as well as buffalo, we used to consider absolute amount of protein required, absolute amount of, say, fiber required, like that. So as group feeding is followed, that's why these nutrient requirements are either in percentage or in proportion. That you remember. Is it clear now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then if you see these different characters, what it has said, these requirements 2 to 10 except 7 are on moisture free basis, means this energy requirement is containing moisture, means on fresh basis. But the other protein, ether extract, crude fiber, total S, whatever are there on DM basis. That you remember. Now this slide is showing some important information that we should keep in our mind while we consider feeding of this swine. Now if we see the gastrointestinal tract of swine,
Sir, slide is not changing.
oh, slide is not changing. Now is it changing? Has it changed?
No, sir.
Okay, in that case again I should. Now is it visible?
Yes, sir.
Is it visible? Okay. Now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's visible now.
Okay, okay. So despite this swine being monogastric, if we see the gastrointestinal tract, that large intestine constitute around 35 to 45% of the total gastrointestinal tract volume. Means the large intestine whatever digestion or whatever metabolism takes place is important for the swine. Remember, these are monogastric animal. Now, in the large intestine, especially in the cecum and colon, there fermentative digestion takes place. Like that, ruminants, where fermentative digestion takes place in the rumen. But here, the swine being monogastric animal, fermentative digestion we can expect taking place in the large intestine, the cecum and colon. And in this fermentative digestion, there is production of VFA, like that ruminant. That is volatile fatty acid or short chain fatty acids. These constitute, say, acetic, butyric, and propionic acid. Now, these volatile fatty acids are utmost important for ruminant. Clear? They utilize the energy requirement from volatile fatty acid. But swine, this volatile fatty acid cannot utilize the whole amount. But to some extent, they can utilize. And that's why it is said that whatever volatile fatty acid is produced in the cecum and colon, out of that, say 25 to 30% of the maintenance requirement of energy of the pig can be satisfied by this volatile fatty acid. So this point you remember. So how much maintenance energy requirement can be satisfied from or through volatile fatty acids? In case of swine, it is 25 to 30%. Okay. The next point, as already I have said that swine is monogastric. So that's why there is limitation of utilizing roughages, because it may not be able to utilize high fiber. But it has been seen that an adult pig can utilize around 3 to 5 kg green roughage. The leafy succulent green feed can be utilized by adult pig, which contain around 10 to 15% dry matter. So from this point, it is clear that we can offer some amount of good quality roughage to the pig, especially the adult pig. Then last point, piglets which is very young, say around 2 to 3 weeks old, they have insufficient pancreatic lipase and intestinal disaccharidases. Therefore, we should not give any solid feed to the piglets when they are very young. Now, is this visible to you, this slide?
No, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Now visible? Okay,
Yes, sir.
okay. Now, as per BIS, I'm going to discuss the feeding part. First, feeding of the piglets during starter phase. And that should be started by 2 weeks, means after around 7 to 10 days. And that starter feeding is also known as crib feed, means the feed that is offered to the young piglets is also known as crib feed. Now, why it is called crib feed? Because this starter feed is given to the very young piglets when they are along with the mother inside the farrowing pen in that enclosed area. That area is known as crib area. You know what is crib area, am I right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So in that crib area, this starter feed is given so that the mother cannot consume it. Only the piglets can make entry to the area and they can, access it. That's why it is also called as crib feed. Now, why this crib feeding is important? That is the third point. The crib feeding is essential for young piglets which are still sucking their mother for their faster growth. Means we want faster growth, and by genetic potential, the piglets are very faster in terms of growing, and that growth may not be possible from the milk that the piglets will be getting from its sow, because sow's milk is unable to support the growth of piglets exclusively only on milk. Therefore, crib feeding we need to introduce at 7 to 10 days of age, and that should be continued up to weaning. So that is the importance of starting the crib feeding as early as possible. Okay. Now here, comparative, in this next 2 points, comparative, what to say, specification of NRC as BIS have been tried to discuss. Now, if we see the table of nutrient specification as per NRC, there the NRC has suggested 3 levels of protein as well as energy during the starter phase. Now, in terms of protein, the levels that have been suggested are 24, 20, and 18% during 1 to 5 kg body weight, 5 to 10 kg, and 10 to 20 kg body weight. Means 24% protein should be given when the piglets are in between 1 to 5 kg, and that should be decreased to 20% when the piglets are in between 5 to 10 kg, and the protein should further decrease to 18% when they are 10 to 20 kg. Is it clear to you? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now let us see how the energy, the different energy has been specified during this 1 to 5 kg, 5 to 10 kg, and 10 to 20 kg body weight piglet. Say 3220 kilocalorie metabolizable energy have been specified when the piglets are 1 to 5 kg. Then we should increase little bit up to 3240 when piglets are 5 to 10 kg. Then 3250 when the piglets are 10 to 20 kg. Now here it is clearly evident that there are different specifications for protein and energy in the starter phase in terms of energy. But as per BIS, if we see, BIS has suggested only 1 level of protein during starter phase, it is 20% protein, and only 1 level of energy, that is 3360 kilocalorie per kg feed. So this is the comparison between NRC and BIS during starter phase. Is it clear to you? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, if we see the advantage of this phase feeding, because different phases has been given by NRC during starter phase. So this phase feeding, as suggested by NRC, that is National Research Council, helps the piglets to make rapid body weight gain during early age. Means during the early age, the requirement of protein and energy is not same from say early weight till 20 kg body weight. That's why different phase feeding have been suggested. But that has not been suggested by BIS. That is the disadvantage in terms of BIS. Okay? Then when the piglets are very young, we need to take care of the piglets so that they do not suffer from anemia. Because anemia is very common in young piglet. That's why iron dextran injection should be given on 4th and 14 days of age. So that we should keep in mind. While we consider the feeding management, we need to consider this iron dextran injection. Okay? Then comes the purpose for which the piglets will be reared. So all the piglets are not going to reared for breeding purpose. Only few animals will be reared for breeding purpose. So the male animals which will not be reared for breeding purpose, they should be castrated at weaning. Yes, you remember. All the male piglets which will be reared for fattening, means for meat purpose, should be castrated at weaning. Means by 56 days of age. Okay? Now, the next slide is it visible to you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is it changing?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now the grower stage. Starter phase is over when the piglets will be weaned by 10 to 12 kg body weight. That starter phase will be over, then starts the growing phase. Now, if we see the comparison between NRC and BIS during growing phase, what we can see, let us see. So, according to National Research Council, the growing phase or post-weaning phases are up to 20 kg, then 20 to 50 kg, and 50 to 110 kg body weight. It is post-weaning phase, not say finishing or growing. It is after weaning, 20, 20 to 50, and 50 to 110. And the protein and energy requirement, if we see, the specification for protein are 18, 15, and 13. Means it has been reduced from 18 to 15, 15 to 13. Means with the increase in body weight of the piglets, the amount of protein that should be present in the diet should be reduced, but energy should be increased. If you see, in 20, 20 to 50, and 50 to 100 kg body weight piglet, the energy are 3,250, 3,260, and 3,270 kg. Means not kg, it is kilocalorie per kg. Means protein requirement in the diet is decreased, energy requirement has been increased. It is as per NRC. Now, if we see the BIS specification for this growing finishing pig, say BIS has specified two types of feed for pigs after weaning. First one, up to 30 kg body weight, that is growing phase, and once the piglets attain 35 kg body weight, they should be considered as finisher, and pig finisher or breeding meal should be given from 35 kg to 70 kg or more body weight. Here, as per BIS, the protein requirements are 18 and 16. 18 is grower phase, 16 is finisher, and energy has been kept similar, 3170 and 3170 respectively. Okay? Now, I am going to show you some grower ration that we can prepare as per BIS specification. Now, before you should see the grower ration, means few example, you please go through this 3 point. So after the piglets have a good start means the piglets are not suffering from any disease, they are gaining as per their genetic potential, that is good start we can say, and suppose they are weighing 10 to 12 kg body weight at weaning, they can be switched from starter ration to a grower ration by 10 to 12 kg body weight. So sometimes we used to ask the student, so by what age, as per BIS, we should switch over the piglets from starter to grower phase by 10 to 12 kg. Then, at this stage, piglets start eating considerably more feed. Means once they attain around 12 kg body weight, they start consuming more feed. So here comes the consideration, how we can reduce the cost of the feed. So therefore, the cost of the feed must be given due consideration, because as you know, 80% of the total pig production comes from or involves in feeding. So we should try to prepare economic feed with low price feed ingredient. Once the piglets reach 20 kg body weight, the third point, and they are thrifty, means very active, shiny in appearance, that is the indication that the piglets have crossed the nutritional critical period. That I have highlighted, nutritional critical period. And after that, the piglets will grow with relatively simple ration. Means if high quality feed ingredients are not considered in preparing the diet, then also the piglets will grow optimally. Now, is this slide visible to you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So here I am going to show you some pig diet for growers phase, not starter phase. These are for grower phase. Okay. So these two diet I have tried to show you how we can prepare. Now here it is said that cereal based ration or cereal based diet means here maize grain cereal has been considered. That's why it is a cereal based diet. In subsequent slide you will get non-cereal based diet, means without cereal. Now with inclusion of cereal maize grain, it is a bit costly. And if we do not consider maize grain or any other cereal, it becomes little bit cheaper. Now here in these two diet, you can see. So in the first diet, maize grain is 30%, and in the second, it is 60%. And groundnut cake, you can see in the first one 20, in the second one 10. And wheat bran, it is a cereal byproduct. When the maize grain is 30, the wheat bran amount has been increased to 40. But with maize grain 60, wheat bran amount is 10. So this second one is a bit costlier because maize grain amount is 60. So in this way, we can prepare or we can advise to the pig farmer to prepare grower feed considering maize grain, groundnut cake, wheat bran, fish meal, mineral mixture, then salt and vitamin and antibiotic mixture. Now with these two type of feed, around 500 gram body weight gain per pig per day is possible, and the feed conversion ratio will be 1:4. Means 1 kg body weight from consumption of 4 kg feed. Have you understood what I have said in these two cereal based ration? Then hello? Are you hearing me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. If you have nothing to say, I am switching over to the next slide. The next slide, you please let me know. Is it visible to you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now here, as I said in the earlier slide, that was cereal based. This is non-cereal based. Now here you cannot see the maize grain. Means this has been tried. Means this ration or this diet has been tried to prepare with the exclusion of cereal, maize. Now first diet, it is considering wheat bran, groundnut cake, fish meal, mineral mixture, common salt and antibiotic. Now you see respective amount of all these ingredients. So wheat bran 70%, groundnut 20, fish meal 7.5. The others are same, 2.5 and 10. In all it is same. Then second one, wheat bran has been reduced from 70 to 35. But along with wheat bran, another cereal byproduct, rice polish, has been considered. Same ratio, 35-35. Then groundnut cake 10. Teal oil cake, another oil cake has been considered 10. Fish meal 7.5. Then mineral mixture, salt and vitamin or antibiotic. The third one, here no wheat bran. Only rice polish has been considered at the rate of 70%. Then groundnut cake, fish meal, mineral mixture, common salt, and vitamin and antibiotic. So these three are some example of diet that we can advise to the farmer to prepare for their growing piglets. And these are non-cereal ration or non-cereal diet because there's no maize grain. Is it clear to you? Please let me know. Are you hearing me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then I'm going to next slide. That is for finisher ration. Has it sensed? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So now finisher ration. So where we should start feeding the finisher ration or finisher diet to the piglet? Say, as per BIS, once the piglets attain around 35 kg body weight, or say 35 to 40 kg body weight, then we should give them the finisher diet. Okay. And that piglets or growing pig should be fed the finisher feed till they attain market weight. Means, say if the male pigs are reared for meat purpose, till attainment of around 80 to 90 kg, we should continue feeding the piglets with finisher diet. But in different experiment, it has been seen that in India, the economical slaughter weight of the pigs are 70 kg. It is more economical compared to 90 kg of United States of America. So in USA, what has been considered that the maximum profit can be obtained by 90 kg body weight if we slaughter. But in India, it has been seen that maximum profit a farmer can expect when he or she is going to slaughter his pig by 70 kg body weight. This point you remember. Sometimes we used to ask the student, the most economical weight of slaughtering the animal in Indian condition, say 70, 90, 100, 110, like that. Multiple choice question may be given. It is 70 kg. You keep in mind. That 70 kg I have highlighted. Next point, the concentrated mixer, that is finisher feed, as per BIS, should contain 16% crude protein and energy 3,170 kilocalorie per kg of the concentrate feed. And this feed should be properly balanced with vitamin and mineral. Now I am going to show you some example of concentrate mixer like earlier one, that grower concentrate feed. So how we can advise the farmer to prepare a finisher feed? If someone approaches to you, then you can give the example like this. So this one is a cereal-based finisher diet. Here, the different ingredients that have been considered are maize grain, wheat bran, groundnut cake, eel oil cake, fish meal, mineral mixture, the salt and vitamin and antibiotic. You can see the respective amount of all these ingredients. So as this is cereal-based, there is maize grain and the amount has been considered 40% out of 100 or 40 parts. Wheat bran 30 parts, groundnut cake 12, eel oil cake 10, fish meal 5.5. Now with this composition, we can expect that the diet will contain 16% protein and energy around 3,170 kilocalorie in 1 kg feed. Is it clear to you? This slide?
Yes, sir.
Done? Okay. Now I am going to next slide. So in the next slide, I am going to show you how we can advise a farmer to prepare a finisher diet for his finisher pig without maize grain or without cereal, that is non-cereal based. So this is also one cereal based, sorry. Here maize grain has been reduced to 25 from 40. Then another cereal has been considered sorghum grain. But in Northeast, sorghum grain is not available. But in northern India, sorghum grain is available. There they can consider inclusion of 15% sorghum. Then rice polish 30, groundnut cake 12. So here instead of wheat grains, rice polish have been considered. So here ingredients we can alter according to availability of the ingredients in the locality. Now, is this slide visible to you? This non-cereal based concentrate?
Yes, sir.
Okay. These two are example of preparing diet for the finisher pig without cereal grain, say maize or sorghum. Now you can see or you can compare these two diets. So in the first one, wheat bran 70% has been considered, groundnut cake 12, teal oil cake 10, fish meal 5.5, the mineral mixer, common salt, these are same. Now in the second one, wheat bran from 70, it has been reduced to 50. And another cereal byproduct, rice polish, has been considered at the rate of 25%. Then instead of teal oil cake, groundnut cake has been considered 17, fish meal 5.5, the others are same. Now in this way, the concentrate mixture can be modified according to the local condition. Means according to the availability of ingredients in a particular locality, we can sense the composition of the concentrate feed. Okay? May I go to next slide?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Has the slide got sense?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, sometimes we ask short type question to the students. Say, write short notes which affect the feed conversion efficiency in swine. So then you'll have to write all these points in the exam. If you are asked what are the different factors that affect the feed conversion efficiency or feed conversion ratio of swine. First point, I am reading it out. The diet, whichever you will prepare or a farmer will prepare for starter pig, grower pig or finisher pig, that should have optimum energy protein ratio. Means as per plants will not grow properly. That is the first point. Then regarding crude fiber, see, if the crude fiber in the pig diet is more, then the piglets fail to grow properly. So diet should have low, crude fiber. So diets with low quality protein and with high crude fiber level affect the feed conversion efficiency. Means more crude fiber, and in contrast to crude fiber, if there is low protein, the piglets will not be able to grow properly. So not grow properly means there will be decreased feed conversion efficiency. That is second point. Then environmental temperatures also govern the feed conversion efficiency. Say at low environmental temperature, feed conversion efficiency decreases. Means more of the energy is spent for maintaining body temperature. So the piglets cannot grow properly. So at low environmental temperature, we cannot expect required feed conversion efficiency. That is another point. Then, in terms of feed conversion efficiency, the age is also important. So age of the animals affect the feed conversion efficiency. As I said in the beginning, the maximum feed conversion efficiency we can expect when the piglets are young. And with the advancement of the age or body weight, the feed conversion efficiency decreases. So higher feed conversion efficiency is observed in young piglets compared to adult fattening pigs. So we should try to get maximum feed conversion efficiency when the piglets are young. Then the genetic composition or say breed character also govern the feed conversion efficiency, because feed efficiency in swine is 30 to 40% heritable, means from mother to the offspring it's inherited, and that inheritance is 30 to 40%. Means if the parents are having or were having good feed conversion efficiency, definitely the offspring will also have good feed conversion efficiency. That is the meaning of this point. Means feed conversion efficiency is 30 to 40% heritable. So if the parents are not, what to say, good in terms of feed conversion efficiency, then we cannot expect the offspring will be good. Now we fed them properly because inheritance is there. Then last point, the faster gaining animals usually make more efficient gains than slower growing animals. So this is the breed variation. Say our local pigs will not get or will not grow faster than that of exotic one, because the local pigs are not faster gaining animal, means local pig, compared to say large white Yorkshire or say Hampshire. So that is another point. So this slide is important from exam point of view. Say you may be asked to write a short note regarding factors that affects feed conversion efficiency in swine. Okay, is it clear to you?
Sir.
Okay. Now I am going to next slide. You let me know whether the slide has got sense or not. Has it sensed?
Sir.
Okay. Now I am going to discuss little bit regarding this piglet anemia, because this piglet anemia management is very important in young pigs. So now it is from treatment point of view, but it is related to feeding also, as anemia is related to iron requirement of the young piglets. So it is important from my side to discuss with you what is this piglet anemia, when it occurs, and how we can prevent or treat it. So anemia means loss of iron or maybe low level of hemoglobin. That means anemia. And piglet means occurring in piglet. So the anemia that occurs in piglets which are sucking its mother due to deficiency of iron is termed as piglet anemia. So here this anemia is occurring due to deficiency of iron, and due to deficiency of iron there is low level of hemoglobin. That's why it is piglet anemia occurring due to deficiency of iron. And the synonym of piglet anemia is THUMS. That you remember. What is the synonym of piglet anemia? This slide, is it visible to you? The sense one?
Yes, sir.
Okay. The first point, why this anemia occur in the young piglet? See, anemia due to iron deficiency occurs most commonly in rapidly growing young piglets which are sucking its mother, because the reason, the iron content of sow's milk, means mother's milk, is usually low. and the piglets are born with low body reserve of iron. So the highlighted point, you try to give more stress. What has been said that the milk that the young piglets will get from its mother is contained or is containing very low amount of iron. First point. The second point is that the piglets, when they born, their body content of iron is very less. So they born with very limited amount of iron. That's why the piglets within its few days of birth, it suffer from anemia. Now another question comes. So piglet anemia commonly occurs in piglets which are housed in pens without access to soil, because soil is rich in iron. Means if we see the rearing system of piglet, there are intensive, semi-intensive, hello, hello, students. Are you
Yes,
here?
sir.
Okay, okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
some problem. Okay. Let me again start. Is the slide visible?
Yes, sir.
Now is it visible? Hello?
Sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what I was saying, piglet anemia, that is anemia in young piglets commonly occurs in piglets which are housed in pens in intensive rearing, because they do not have access to soil. But in extensive system where the piglets are let loose in the open, there they are having access to the soil and they can leak or consume the soil, and soil being rich in iron, they get the required amount of iron. So sometimes we ask the students why piglet anemia is common in piglets which are housed in pens in intensive rearing system. That point you remember. Then third point, what are the different symptoms that the piglets will exhibit or show? The anemia in piglets is characterized by poor appetite, means the piglets will not consume properly the feed, and there will be poor growth. Growth will be retarded. And the affected piglets, if we see the breathing will be levered, means they will feel difficulty in breathing and spasmodic. So there is difficulty in breathing, that is known as labored breathing as well as spasmodic breathing. Now, the second point that I said, piglet anemia commonly occurs in piglets housed in pens. Why it occurs? That is the question. Why anemia is common in piglets housed in pens, and what can be the remedy of that piglet anemia? If we see the piglets at their birth, they have limited body reserve of iron. At the same time, their mother can provide only about 1 milligram iron per day. But a rapidly growing piglet requires daily 15 milligram iron per day. You see, the sow's milk can provide only 1 milligram iron for 1 day, but they require daily 15 milligram. That's why the piglets are prone to suffering from piglet anemia. Now, in extensive system of rearing, the piglets can get the required iron by ingestion of soil. It is 15 milligram iron per day because soil is rich in iron. But in intensive system, the piglets do not have access to soil as the floor is cement concrete. And therefore can get the required iron from soil, cannot get. Okay. Now the next slide, whether it is visible or not, you see, let me know. Is this visible?
Yes, sir, it's visible.
Okay, okay. This is the last slide. In intensive system, the piglets do not have access to the soil, as you have come to know, because the soil floor is made of cement concrete. Therefore, they cannot get the required iron from the soil, resulting anemia. Now, how we can prevent this anemia? We can give the iron as iron dextran complex or glyptopherol on 3rd or 4th day of age, and the second dose should be given on 14 days of age. So this dose, when we should give, that is important, on 4th and 14th day. Now by 14th day, the piglets will start getting starter feed. So after that, no need of giving further any iron injection, because the starter feed is having sufficient amount of required iron. And how much iron is given or as injection in each dose? It is around 200 milligram. So that highlighted amount you try to remember. Usually around 200 milligram iron is injected, that too intramuscularly, not intravenously or subcutaneously. It should be given in the gluteal muscle. In the gluteal muscle it is given. The amount is 200 milligram of iron. So herewith, I would like to conclude today's class. Hope you have been able to get little bit. Are you still there?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So
Yes, sir.
on Wednesday at 11, we are having another theory class. Jim. So on Wednesday, we will start the feeding of laboratory animal. That feeding of rabbit, then guinea pig, mice. Okay. So that we will start on Wednesday. So for today, let us stop here. And thank you for attending the class. Okay. Okay.